It's my favorite day of the week, Tuesday, October 24th, time for Mike Reads the Journal. Let's jump into the markets. Today, they are up about 0.6, but pretty ugly over the last week, down about 3%. So as good as a couple of weeks ago was, up about 3.5 this week, kind of settling all that out. In fact, we are kind of bouncing along the bottom again. Here's a recent low. I think we actually beat that recent low in terms, but we've come back up a little bit. Today is not too bad. It's really going to be how the market does over this upcoming week. I think last week was very much a reaction to the Powell Fed minutes or comments from Powell, which, to be perfectly honest, I can't imagine surprised anyone. Although, I mean, there were good news. And they said largely was not expecting to raise interest rates again this year, at least not in November, but said expected to keep interest rates higher for longer, which I thought was what we all knew, but the market really didn't like it. 10-year Treasury up about 4.8, did peak above 5% over the last 5 days, but has kind of come back down, which is a good sign, probably normalizing. I picked this next article specifically coming out of Talking on the Markets, which is about these 5 investors and how they perceive. These are kind of true market experts and what their advice is in investing in the 5% world, meaning the 10-year Treasuries at 5% or higher. And you can read through this. I'm not going to go through all of their advice, but it is all over the place. I would say the one thing you do not read anywhere here is anyone saying that the market is doomed, the economy is not going to do well, that we're headed into some type of major recession. But none of them have any type of consensus in terms of where they would invest. A lot of it, somebody says to go into stocks, another one value stocks, somebody says tech's the way to go, another one says you should stay out of tech. It's just all over the place. So I'm glad that the experts are equally as confused as I am as to what's going on in this world of virtually all the news is good from the economy, and yet the market is still not doing well. So I think this week we have GDP and a bunch of earnings coming out. So it'll be an interesting week. All right, as a financial advisor, we typically try and steer clear of politically charged topics. It's no point in getting 50% of the population ticked at us. But so I figured, what better topics to cover than immigration? This is not a political article. This is really pretty fact-based, I think. May probably disagree with me. It talks about, that kind of extreme condition that is going on at the southern border. I did a video on immigration a fairly long time ago now. Apparently I've been making videos that long, but I'm going to redo that video because I think I want to update myself as well as want to cover it, kind of compared to the labor market. Because I would say the one thing that this article falls short on describing is the fact that for the last 3 years, which is really while this problem has been occurring, the labor market has never been tighter. There has been, incredible opportunity for someone who wants to come here and work. So, that's a little preview as to my thought on the immigration issue. All right, next article is actually not from the Wall Street Journal. So they have not been covering this. So I wanted to find something because I've kind of been delving into artificial intelligence for the last couple of weeks myself personally, a little more. I've kind of code as a hobby. And this is going to be a big deal. I'm not advertising Microsoft Copilot. This will come out in other forms. But effectively, Microsoft is putting a generative AI ChatGPT directly embedded into their Office suite. It's going to really just be available in the beginning at kind of business level. And this is specifically talking how expensive, $30 per user per month. So if you had 100 Office users, you're talking about $3,000 a month in order to use this. But this is really, I think, one of the next steps in AI. And, the power here is that the artificial intelligence can use your office materials as context. So it effectively knows what you email about, what you make presentations on, what you're writing, text for. And for example, if you send out an email to your colleagues about an issue and you wanted some feedback and 10 people sent you a couple of paragraphs on what they thought was going on with whatever it was, you could then ask Copilot to create a summary of that and then use that summary to create a PowerPoint presentation so that at the next meeting, you had something to kind of talk to, a little summary of what that was. And that would probably save you an hour or so of work. You could, of course, edit it yourself if, after you reviewed the emails yourself, but you wouldn't have to go through a lot of the typing. And that PowerPoint is maybe only going to get used for 10 minutes and never looked at again. So there's, you really don't want to put a ton of time and effort into creating this little PowerPoint that's just going to get used once and then thrown away. So this artificial intelligence, it is incredible how far it has come since a year ago, or since the interview I did several months ago. Gosh, it was probably 6, 8 months ago. It is so much further along. People now are planning, right when they start a project in AI, they are not planning for what it is capable of now. They are planning where do we think its capability is going to be in 1 year or 2 years from now, because by the time they get it built, AI will be so much further ahead than it was when they started the project. So it's really pretty incredible. All right, not a great week for the markets. This is really kind of it to wrap it up. Really good articles if you do want to read through those. This upcoming week is going to be a very telling week, I think, for the economy and for the market. So we'll just have to see how it comes out. I hope this has been informative, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.